I was banging the hottest chick in the whole of France, and I was like a professional athlete. Set up $1 million business in Brisbane. How good am I doing? I've never had cocaine before. Whoa. Game changer. Where's this shit been all my life? I did a drug deal that got me arrested. Well, the thing about it was I bought my pub. Yeah. So I bought the pub I drank in, which I thought was cool as fuck.
And where is this pub? Is this it? This is the one here?
That's the one that's now the Varsity in Adelaide.
Okay,
so I bought the pub. Bought the pub I fucking drunk in. Police don't want to open it up because they've got a conviction. Ever lifted a dead body, put it in a wheelie bin and put it in the back of a Jeep Wrangler with no fucking room? He died with $30 million in the bank, but he'd never buy a carton of beer to save his life. The point about it was he was my friend. Craig Putty got murdered by Cameron Mounts. And the reason why we're in this podcast, I think I know where his body is.
My name is Grady Stewart, an American living in Australia, and in 2018, I was convicted of cocaine trafficking from Compton, California to Perth. I've done my crime, and this podcast is my redemption. Are you ready? Welcome to Crimes and Misunderstandings, a true crime podcast where we do real interviews with real convicts and find out if they're on the fast track back to prison or the road to redemption. Today, we have the violent orbit of Horse Elliott. Some people find trouble, some people attract it. Horse Elliott's story is a blood-soaked journey through fame, drugs, betrayal, and bodies that never came home. Horse, you're a hell of a, let's just start off with you're a hell of a rugby player, right?
I just want to think one thing. I didn't do the chat GPT. That I never said I was any of those things. That's why I don't dig IO.
Okay.
However,
that's pretty good, I thought.
However, it could be construed that those things have happened to me in my past, but that's why I don't dig IA.
Well, thanks for just ruining my intro, but we're off to a great start here, man.
I just didn't agree with it.
I thought that start was exceptional, but we'll work our way through. We'll let the audience decide if the intro is suiting or not, but we'll find out as we go.
Wait, why don't you like AI? What's wrong with AI?
Well, it's just you can't make it up yourself. You need someone else to do it.
Bro, you know me. I'm pretty creative, but I was like, I didn't even read that. I was like, this is pretty fucking good.
I wasn't suggesting it didn't sound okay, but the point about it is like I could work that out for myself. I didn't need a computer to tell me.
Well,
if you had to introduce yourself, how would you do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Let Horse do his own intro. Go ahead. Give it to it. Give yourself. Go ahead.
If I was going to give me, I wrote a book when I was in prison.
No, just go. We'll get to the story later. The Crimes and Misunderstandings, introduce yourself. Go.
I'm Horse Elliot. You've got no idea what I think I was, but I don't know if I wasn't that good.
Perfect, man. That was better than AI all day long. You've done very good. So we're gonna start with a brief sporting career. Like I was talking to Diago because we've actually done this podcast before, but it says
YouTube took it down.
It said deleted by the uploader, which is I think Diago got drunk and took it down because we had to take another one down. I think he took yours down with it.
Hey, I did nothing of the sort, Horse. I did not do that.
Just quietly, it was a very good podcast. I was really happy how it went, and I was hungover like a mule and actually threw up on the podcast. I'm not going to be able to replicate that today.
We'll give it a good shot.
However, the thing about it was so good, so natural. And he goes, come back and do it again. I can't replicate being that hungover on a Tuesday in my life. Well, probably could.
What are you talking about? You replicate it every Tuesday.
And he done it ends with a Y. It's a good day.
Yeah. Okay. So, top man. So we've gone through this. Diago was telling me, he's like, bro, I didn't know. Fucking tell him what you were telling me, like about his sporting career, like the people he played for, and let the audience know, Diago.
Yeah, no, because last time we had you on, we talked about the dead body that you know exactly where it is, and we want to do a vlog and find that. But then I spent an afternoon that went into deep hours of the night, drinking and all sorts. And then you're showing me all these pictures of you playing for the Canberra Raiders, playing for Australia, going to France and playing rugby. And you were fit.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, though.
Hold on. You know how long he's going to talk about that? No, we're going to go. But
Yeah,
How'd you play for the Raiders? How'd you start that?
Look, the thing about it was that we talked about this, and we'll go back over the things in the podcast. Yeah, I played decent footy as a kid. I represented some schoolboys footy and stuff like that, and I played for 3 or 4 Sydney clubs. And my claim to fame, we talked about this before, was I was on the one and only rugby league draft. And then I got drafted number 16 overall to the Canberra Raiders, who were the premiership side at the moment. So that would be like me getting drafted number 2 to the Brisbane Lions in AFL. So it was a pretty big deal. The thing I'll say about it is the guys who got drafted underneath me played like 250 games for the Raiders and represented New Zealand, and I never played a game at first grade. So it sounds cool that I got drafted, and I was in the Raiders, I played with all their cool guys at Mal Meningas, Bradley Clydes, Laurie Daly's, all that when I was a kid. And I got injured and ended up being a journeyman. So played country football, ended up overseas playing in England and France. That's sort of how things panned out for me rugby-wise. When I come back to Australia, I captain coached rugby teams in Darwin, then ended up getting picked up from the Darwin Rugby League to come play for the Western Reds. So, yeah, I played in a lot of clubs. I like to tell people stories that I've played in more clubs than the Deltones. For the people that don't know who the Deltones are, I've had more clubs than Tiger Woods. So the thing about it was I was a journeyman. I was a good footballer, not the best footballer, but I played in positions and knew people that were a lot better than me. And even last week when South Sydney were over here, I get to hang out in the chairman's lounge with all the South Sydney professionals, and I think I'm cool because 25, 30 years ago, I played a couple of games of footy that they will remove me from. So I was okay. I wasn't fantastic, but I got a better career than most other people.
Right,
we'll talk about it.
No, but you made, so it's like in America. I mean, there's a draft, and like my dad played in the NFL, and he played for the Broncos. He was the quarterback for the Broncos, Giants, and Eagles, and he probably played a handful of games, but he was there for like 5 years. And just to get to that point is insane. So you should really like be proud of yourself for making that and being up there in that level. You know.
Oh, look, we talked about it before, Grady. You're a professional athlete. I'm a super professional athlete, and I was a good semi-professional athlete, and you don't realise it until you forgot that you were that person. Yeah. And the thing about it was going through it, you never thought you succeeded, and I never thought I succeeded. But hindsight, looking back, mate, I probably should be proud of what I did, but I'm now loud and gregarious, and I probably tell people I was better than I thought I was anyway. But we talked about this before. We had a mate at the back, and he was an absolute superstar and legend. And he gave me a rap, and I went, oh, man, if that guy gives me a rap,
this is Charlie
Burkhardt. Like, he's a legend, right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to him the other day, and we were half pissed. And, like, he's going, Horse, you're a good footballer. I went, dude, if you're telling me I'm a good footballer, I must have been half a decent footballer. Because I was embarrassed. He goes, no, you're like me. And I went, oh.
Now, how good was it? Like, was he famous good?
The thing about it was and this is rugby league vernacular, right?
Yeah.
If you're a hard rugby league person, we were hard rugby guys, but we were also bouncers and we were thugs or whatever the thing was. Yeah. And he owned nightclubs. He was a bouncer, all this sort of thing. And 20 years after he'd finished playing rugby, I'd come to WA and I was doing the same sort of thing. So I was the head of nightclubs and bouncing and sort of, and could still play rugby. Like I'd finish being a dormant at like 7 o'clock in the morning and then go play rugby at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and still be a very good rugby player. Yeah. So that sort of, and he was a superstar businessman. Later on in my thing, we'll talk about that later, but I'd become a businessman. So that sort of context about how I think about myself now and how I thought about it then, it was completely different. But when we had the first podcast, he gave you an insight into me before you even knew any about that.
No, I've heard that before.
Mate, it just gave me so much validation, I suppose is the word. Yeah. And I'm not a humble guy, I suppose. I thought
Really?
I've got a habit of talking myself up. Don't worry about that.
Before we go any deeper, man, I've got to throw this out there to one of our sponsors. So I went through some family issues, and I walked into this law firm, and they're charging me $610 an hour, and I was like, $610 an hour. And I go, how many lawyers do you have? They go, we've got like 10. They go, which one do you want? I go, who's the biggest bitch in the place? They're like, oh, so-and-so's the biggest bitch. And I was like, well, that's the girl I want. Anyway, she ends up quitting. I didn't get represented very good by that firm, but there is a guy that is an absolute dick. His name is Dave Quartermain, and he runs Balmoral Legal, and he will go to war for you in family court, man. If you want family law, Balmoral Legal, Dave Quarterman, the biggest dick lawyer you'll ever meet. All right, sorry, I had to get through that. We have to thank our sponsors every now and again, you know. So anyway, so you've transitioned. You're transitioning now. You've gone and played in France.
I'm not a trans.
Right.
I'm not transitioning.
Sorry,
I'm not transitioning. Just let me quietly. I'd be a very fit athlete as a woman, but very ugly. However, I'd probably pull more roots as a woman than I'm doing it as a dude right now. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So, but you've gone through. You played rugby. You went in France. You played in France. You had the most beautiful girlfriend there. So somehow that went south.
I was banging the hottest chick in the whole of France, and I was like a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And in France at the time, you're only allowed 12 international rugby players into the club. Yeah. And I ain't the greatest footballer I've ever played, but I was one of those 12 guys, and I was banging the hottest chick in France. So I went, oh, this is cool. So I snapped my cruciate ligament playing in France after about 3 weeks, which was not good.
Yeah.
Now, my contract said for 3 months, I was going to get full payment, half payment, quarter payment. I stayed in France for 6 months drinking tarragon, eating tarragon, drinking soy sauce just so I could stay in France to be with this chick.
What's tarragon? I've never even heard of tarragon.
It's like a herb. It was like I was living on nothing just so I could stay in France.
Yeah.
I got wind that if you join the Foreign Legion.
This episode is brought to us by Hardtech Digital. Hardtech specializes in the design, manufacture, and supply of signage and safety solutions to the construction, mining, oil, and gas industries. The company has an extensive safety sign and safety product range along with safety isolation systems, which are at the cutting edge for positive locking, high reliability, and safety energy use. Hardtech design and manufacturing all types of signs to protect workers and to keep the workplace free from accidents.
Sounds good to me.
This episode is also brought to you by Ecolux Interiors Pro Fit PVC Solutions. In the world of commercial interiors, Ecolux Interiors Pro Fit PVC Solutions stands out by offering an unparalleled blend of style, durability, and affordability. Our premium PVC panels are designed to transform any commercial space, be it a chic boutique, a luxurious hotel, or an imposing high-rise, into a masterpiece of design without the hefty price tag typically associated with high-end finishes. Hit up Ecolux Interiors Pro.
All right.
Good.
They sound pretty good, huh?
All right. Oh, I think so. You need finance without the bullshit?
Yes.
Hit up dreamdealer.com.au. He's our man, Jesse. You get your finance for anything you need, from cars to houses to planes to maybe small ammunitions. And we're not serious about everything, but he'll get it financed for you.
Yeah, as he said, you can get it on tick. So
Yeah.
he'll give you the cash and he'll finance it. Anything on wheels.
Plan your trip now. Save with our Perth Car Rentals, Velocity Rentals. Drive our late model cars for an enjoyable, stress-free travel experience that combines convenience, comfort, and flexibility. Whether you're a business trip or on a leisurely getaway, our Perth Hire Services offers freedom to explore at your own pace.
I'll tell you this much, you're a better ad reader than Mayweather.
I can't believe I can read. I've been trying my whole life to read. I can't believe I got through this. I was hoping for like earphones just to repeat, but I can't remember what they said. But yeah.
All right, let's get back to the episode.
you could stay in France and get a passport.
Oh, yeah.
So 21-year-old, absolute no idea, joined the Foreign Legion. Now, I know it's not on the dot sheets. We didn't talk about it before. We're not going to talk about it today. But the thing about it is I joined the Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
So the next 5 years of my life, it's a story in itself. We'll talk about that down the track.
Yeah.
However, that's how I ended up staying in France and becoming a French citizen.
So, and that's right, because remember, I was in the detention center, and I remember this Polish guy that tried to tunnel himself out like Shawshank Redemption. He dug a tunnel for like 80 meters. He's like 5 meters from getting out, and somebody ran him out, but he's in the Foreign Legion. I go, why'd you join the Foreign Legion? He goes, because when you join Foreign Legion, you get passport and change name. I was like,
that's one of the things that happened to me. So my full Christian name is Horse Marcus Elliot. Now, as a kid, being an ugly twin, I got picked on all my life. So I grew up with like an Anglophile name. So I grew up being called Mark Andrew Elliott. I go off to France. I got to join the Foreign Legion. That's fine. So on an R&R, I go back to England or in London and get a passport. So when I got arrested down the track when I finally become a criminal, which I don't think was like set in stone, but I had 2 passports with 2 different names on them. Yeah. They shit themselves.
Yeah.
I go, who are you?
Yeah, you're like CIA spy, like something.
No, that's what I was, James fucking Bond.
Yeah. Well, were you?
Well, the thing about it was when I was in prison, I got in some trouble with our Indigenous population, which is
it's not uncommon.
They run prison, so I had an issue with them. Anyway, so I get called into the superintendent's thing. And this is we're going forward now, but I get called into and they bring the head of the TRG and he goes, James Bond. So what do you think? You got a problem? I said, I'm just telling you. If they come into my cell, I don't reckon I'll get 10 of them, but I reckon 3 or 4 of them. But I'm not going to break a nose, I'm not going to blacken an eye. I reckon I'll probably kill them. He goes, really? And the guy who's the head of the TRG goes, what do you reckon of that? And he goes, he trained us to be the security guard. I'd believe it. I got transferred the next day.
From where?
That was Acacia to Carnet.
So shit was getting ready to hit the fan, but yeah, we fast forwarded way too far. So this is.
Well, let's go back.
Yeah, we'll go backwards. So you're now in the French Legion to stay with this beautiful girl because you've snapped your ACL.
Yeah. So to date, I've had 5 knee reconstructions, 42 medical operations. Yeah. So I got out of the Foreign Legion. I come back to Australia. So I captain coach up in Darwin. I was 26. Turning 27. Anyway, so I played footy in Darwin.
But what happened to the Foreign Legion? How'd you get out of that?
5-year contract.
You did 5 years in the Foreign Legion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're originally from what? So I mean, you're South African.
My father's South African.
Hold on a second. We've got people on the blind mic here. We won't give him a real name. We'll just call him Jetson. Jetson's got a question that he'd like to propose to Horse. Go ahead. What are you talking about?
One of the interesting things is that people doubt any suggestion that Horse actually was in the French Foreign Legion. If you were to ask Horse to pull his shirt up, people might actually understand the amount of shrapnel and damage that's actually been done to him. I can't ask him, Grady, because he'll probably bash me up, but you might be able to ask him to pull his shirt up.
Bro, it sounds like we've got a university professor on the mic.
This is about to be the gayest thing ever. This is about to be the gayest thing I've ever done.
Pull it up.
Can you show us your fucking...
And you've still done it, Grady.
Balmoral Eagle. Oh, yeah, he got some scars there, boy. Yeah. We done, what was that from?
Oh, I got fragged in Bosnia.
In Bosnia?
In the Mostar Bridge.
What happened?
Mostar, we're Legion was in the UN, Mostar Bridge were predated, so they RPG, got fragged. I just woke up in Germany.
Oh, really? So, I mean, it was bad. that like legit.
Yeah, so one of the things about it is like you sort of got to stay. And one of the things about it, and you're the same, Grady, and I'm not making to this. If I'm going to do a job or a contract, if I'm going to tell you I'm going to do something, and I went away to play rugby league in France, and I wasn't going to come back with the tail between my legs because that's not what I am. So I joined the Foreign Legion, and at that particular point in time, I had no idea what that meant. I just thought I was going to do like recuperation exercises to get my knee right and I could stay there.
Yeah.
That's not how it went. So my first tour of duty was in Bosnia. I got fragged, didn't die, obviously.
Yeah.
And so the next 3 or 4 years of my life was spent in Africa, not doing things that you want to do on a tourist podcast.
You've gotten your hands bloody plenty of times.
It's not ideal.
You know what? It's life. You know, I watched this. Did you guys see that podcast? Like, there's this old like World War II guy that they're like, he goes, I heard you like just bayoneted a guy because you didn't want to walk him to he goes, yeah, I'd done it. He goes, do you feel bad about like bayoneting the guy? He goes, no, I didn't feel bad about it. I told him to give me that picture, so I just run my bayonet through him.
I don't talk about it. I was with a guy for the Australian SAS last week, and like I'm good mates with a lot of guys in the regiment, and I've spent a lot of time with those guys, and stuff that happens up here, happens up here for me, and I don't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about it too much, and every now and then I get to talk about it, and the guys we were with the other week, and that resonance, as much as it's, I could have bravado about it, I could have resonance. It's just something that happens to me, and when it happens to me, no one knows when it happens.
Yeah.
It's just something that I've been through.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about it too much, and every now and then I'll get pissed, and I'll tell people, oh yeah, what's the worst thing you ever done? And people go, that's really bad. And I went, you don't want to know what the worst thing I've ever done. It's just a horrible thing to talk.
Is this because you saw something out there, or is this something that you did whilst you were in the Legion?
I said to someone the other day, and he just backed it up, and he goes, I couldn't understand what you were trying to talk about until you said, I wake up at night because I smell things.
Yeah. And that's legit PTSD. So you say we're the same. I'm not saying, I've never been to war, man. That's ultimate balls. Like, joining French Foreign Legion and getting blown up in Bosnia, ending up in Germany, and then going to South Africa. And your job was, it wasn't to play patty cake, was it?
Here's the thing. Everybody goes, so I get into an Uber and I can pick an Eritrean from an Ethiopian, from a Somali, to all those people, because I've lived in their countries. Yeah. And it's a thing that I have, and I'm only looking in the back of a cab, looking at because how do you know that? Because that's what I did and served. And I get a little bit of reputation because I can actually understand what those people have been through.
Yeah.
The thing about it is every stamp on my passport is somewhere you don't want to go for a fucking holiday. However, my passport's like epic. And if you wanted to go to Rwanda right now, let's look at some gorillas. When I was in Rwanda, no.
Yeah. Does that when they had the genocide going on?
I was there. So we had active engagement. I don't talk about it. And we've decided not to talk about this.
Right, talk about what you want. Yeah, if you want to continue, cool.
No, but the thing is that we Ted the first time, that's a podcast down the track for that part of my life. But and that's the thing, it just happens to be something I went through.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to fail when I went overseas. And when I come back, I just didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
I did 5 years. I meet legionnaires now in the middle of, there's not many of us. There's only 7,000 of us on the planet. And it's a thing that I've got in my head I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be proud when the situation in Australia, Special Forces, soldiering and stuff like that, you're not allowed to be proud of your service.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, man. It's a long time ago for me.
I've known you for a long time, and you've told me a lot of stories about yourself, but I've never actually heard you. I know you went to the SAS. I know you've talked about I haven't heard these stories, and I'm I'm very interested. Jetson, go and get Horse a couple beers.
Indeed, sir.
Not gin like the last time.
Last time.
I'll bring a rake as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, I stole Jetson's rake on accident, but we'll talk about it anyway. Last time we were here, we had I said, Horse, show up here, bro. We got to do this podcast. And he's like, I said, you're supposed to be here. What? He's like, I can't make it till 3. I was like, oh, he must be working. Nah, this dude was hungover. So he shows up. He goes, I just need a little bit of hair of the dog. So I see this vodka bottle. And poor Mitch. Mitch is, he's the one that accommodates us with his podcast room and stuff. So I go get this vodka. He goes, got some vodka, straight vodka. He goes, yeah. So I poured it in there and he chugs it. He goes, like nothing. I think it was somebody put water in Mitch's vodka. I'm like, what kind of scumbag does that? So I replaced it with some gin with that.
Without me knowing.
No, I'm pretty sure I said this is gin. The cup was full. he chugged it, and it
didn't go well.
It didn't go well. He was, I guess, what do you call it? Exercising demons after that during the podcast. But
the funny thing about it was that in the podcast, Horse turned up there on Shirley, and I spewed me ring up, and like they go, "Are you okay?" And I went, "What do you reckon?" I just spewed me ring up on a podcast. No, I'm not that good. Anyway, so we've decided today that I'm drinking beer, not gin.
He doesn't know what he's drinking because they always come open. He's about to be in the spirit world, but he's good. We just give him his beer because Horse is an entertaining character to say the least. I mean, full of stories. The way he runs, well, you've had a bunch of businesses, but you run a demo business now. We'll get to that. But yeah, let's just say the amount of characters that goes through his shop, man, it should be, you know, that reality shows were just like nonstop.
Look, if I had a real big business back in 2004 and I franchised the company, it was mint. Right, but that was when American Chopper was out. It was just old Paul Senior, Paul Junior, just going nutbags at each other. Had a good business, making some money. They did a whole heap of stuff on the side. I had a business like that, and I said, I'd be the best TV you'd ever seen in your life. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. I reckon I'm still great TV, but you're a great podcast, so here we are.
If you don't tell, because you should see some of the comments I get. They whoop my ass. They're like, "Shut up! You talk too much." And then, I can't help it. I'm American. But listen. The thing is, I interview my mates, you know, and Diago was talking earlier. And he's like, "Man, we have the craziest people come through this place. Like, we've got Clarky here. Clarky's our other mate. He claims he accidentally broke his mate out of prison with a sawn-off shotgun while ripping the guard's ear off. You know, how do you accidentally break your mate out of prison with a sawn-off shotgun ripping a guard's ear off?
When they read it to you in a prison charge.
Yeah.
Or like in a trial charge, that's what you did. Oh, no, we've got to defend that.
Yeah. He's like, what did he tell us? "Excuse me, sir, would you kindly let my mate go?" Anyway, we're talking, the people that come through here are crazy, and you fit the mold.
But here's the thing: if you've got a podcast, Get Crimes and Misunderstandings,
Yeah.
right? There's a level of that's what we're tuning into. Now, the thing about it is and I'm going to jump in before we had a podcast. I was hungover like a mule, and it was cool. And I went, "Oh, that's good." He goes, "Horse, it hasn't been uploaded. We need to do it again." I said, "Do I need to replicate it all?" And it's almost impossible. But the thing about it is like having a conversation with my mate who's across the road, we've got so much history together in terms of we're mates. We've been through some stuff that we both went through. We never wanted to go through that. And that's by going to prison, going to and doing the best for yourself when you get out of that situation. And how do you deal with all that sort of stuff? It's almost cathartic to be able to sit down here and talk about it because no one understands it.
And you know what, but it does. It takes a weight off my chest. Like we go through, like I like just listening to you. Like I feel good. Like hearing like I haven't heard that your military story before. I've heard bits of your rugby and stuff, but usually it's about like the bars and stuff that you own. And we're going to talk about how one of your good mates, he was your business partner and was murdered, but the body was never found. We're going to get to that. So and we apparently know where somebody's phone's ringing. So
All right.
we'll just have to wait for this thing to stop ringing because it's annoying. What is it?
His phone is.
Oh, that's my phone. That's my phone.
Now, here's the thing. Because this is not going live to air, that's getting edited.
We'll just wait until there's some idiot turns his phone off.
Hey, because that's happened, where's my fucking beer?
Where are they going to get a beer? We never get to edit on any of those stuff. This is the story of my life. So Okay, can we get past
Can
this
you
guy?
imagine if that was me?
I'm just sitting there going,
They'd be going fucking bananas.
I'm sitting there, what idiot has turned their phone on so close to the microphone? So I'm looking all over the room. And,
If it was me, he'd be going fucking nuts. What are you fucking doing, man?
oh, man. Listen, I've actually got that taco truck and I've fired one girl 5 times in the last 2 weeks. I constantly, and it's all for stuff I kind of make my own mistakes. But so you get back to Australia. You've started a demo company that was getting ready to go big. Now here comes, you've decided to make a little extra money selling.
If we go back before, so I come back to Australia.
Yeah.
I played rugby up in Darwin. I got picked up to play for the Western Reds. I come to Perth. I was a doorman. I was a bouncer. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
That's all I ever did for a job. I was a thug. And I lost my security license. And that's all I ever done in my whole life. So I lost my security. I got a job as a labourer, and I'm a good labourer, no worries. And I had an opportunity to buy the guy's business. So I bought the guy's business within like about 3 months. Anyway, but no one was going to give me any money because I'd done some bad stuff and got arrested, this, that, and the other. And no one was going to give me money. So I bought this business, and within 3 years, I franchised it. It was unbelievable. No one could believe I could do that. And so I franchised a business that no one ever knew about. Anyway, I always wanted my kids not to spend the days that I had in working hard and doing this and that. And I decided at some point, I went, I'm making that much money doing this business. I'm going to buy the pub I drink in.
Yeah.
So I did.
And that was like the first varsity bar here in Perth, yeah?
Yeah. I bought the venue, spent a lot of money doing it, but I got arrested halfway through it.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is no one thought I could do that, and I did it. So I bought the bar. And with my business, and now because of what we're talking about before, in my business, I'd never touch a drug until I was 36-year-old.
Yeah.
I just told you this before that I got arrested, didn't go to jail, bought a business. That went really well. Everything I've done in my life, I went to France, snapped my knee, joined the Foreign Legion, do that. Everything I'd ever done always turned out for the good, even though bad things I did turned out good.
Yeah.
So I thought I was a little bit impervious. Right? So I thought, I'm just really good at making bad shit bad, right? So when I had the assault charge then when I bought the business, I asked every one of my friends to give me some money to buy this business, and no one would because I'm a fucking idiot and I'm a lunatic, and I just did a real bad crime. And it was an assault charge, and I'm not proud of it, and I don't like talking about it. I won't talk about it on camera.
Was this something you were convicted of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Tedori, hands out to Michael Tedori. I should have gone.
So we'll get Michael Tedori as far as criminal law in Perth. He is the man. There's a lot of criminals use him, and he does a lot. Like he gets a lot of people that shouldn't be going to jail off. So
one of my closest friends, but he got me off this, and the thing about it was because I was a decorated soldier and stuff like that, I should have gone. If I got convicted of that crime today, I'd do 4, 5, 6 years in jail, and it was not. But I used it to better myself. Now I bought the business. Everything went really, really good. I franchised the business within 3 years, which is that's an unbelievable thing. Then I met an air hostess in Brisbane, right? Yeah. And I went, oh, how good am I going? Walked out of my wife and children to be with the air hostess, set up $1 million business in Brisbane. How good am I doing? She breaks up with me. I've never failed. Right? So now I am in Brisbane. Spent like a poultice of money to have this business in Brisbane. Already set up in Darwin, rah. And I had to stay in Brisbane. I'm a New South Walesman, rugby league guy. Hate Queenslanders. So here I am in Brisbane, not loving being in Brisbane. And I walked up to this guy one night, and it's the biggest Maori you ever seen in your life. Turns out he plays rugby with a guy that I used to play rugby with anyway. Offers me cocaine. I've never had cocaine before. Whoa. Game changer.
Yeah.
Where's this shit been all my life? Mm-hmm. Right? And that was the beginning of my downfall.
Yeah. So you've got this business. You've made a lot of money. Your girlfriend that you plan on being your forever girl has left you. You've found cocaine.
How do you be cool when you don't want to be cool? You've walked out on your wife and kids. You're in Brisbane. You don't. I have to stay there now because I've invested all this money in over there. I'm making, and I'm not exaggerating here. I was making $70,000 a month as a labourer. Right. And guess what? It's pretty cool. Easy to be the coolest bloke in the room if you've got cash. But here's the thing: never did drugs. All I am is a fat drunk. But guess what? Little packet of cocaine. All of a sudden, I'm a lot more attractive to a lot of better looking ladies than I ever thought I had in my life.
Yep.
That becomes its own addictive situation, and we've talked about this in the last one. And the thing about it is I thought I was invincible.
Yeah.
Because cocaine makes you think things that you never thought you weren't doing. But because I was going so good, everything was going great. But that's the drugs talking, not reality talking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so you started selling drugs.
Well, the thing about it was I bought my pub.
Yeah.
So I bought the pub I drank in, which I thought was cool as fuck.
And where is this pub? Is this it? This is the one here?
That's the one that's now the Varsity in Adelaide.
Okay,
so I bought the pub because the guy who owned the pub, and I just loved the beer, and it was a boutique beer and stuff. And he goes, "You're doing really well for yourself, Horse." I went, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going for a divorce. I need to sell the pub. Would you like to buy the pub?" I said, "Yeah, I'll buy the pub." So we did a bit of a deal, bit of cash under the table, this, that, and the other. I ended up buying the pub. I bought the pub I fucking drunk in. That's a childhood fucking...
Yeah.
It's just like, I couldn't believe in my life, I bought the pub that I fucking drunk in. I couldn't believe that my kids could end up with this situation. That's what I did it for, my kids.
Yeah.
You don't have to work like me. You don't have to fucking do what I've been through to go through what I've been through. How good's this?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Going down the track, pubs are expensive.
But didn't you? You built a. What was it? It was like an aquarium pit. Like I remember going to that place and you take a piss and you're looking out at everybody and fish swimming by you, right?
It was a $400,000 toilet.
Yeah, it was but yeah, you're sitting there taking a piss and you're looking at everybody in the bar, but I don't even know if they could see you or not. But
no, they can't. But the thing about it is, if you walked over there and your missus was talking to some other dude, you could find out when you went for a piss.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, it's like as a marketing prospect, this is me just thinking like I am, and everyone goes to a bar for a beer. Everyone goes for a bar for a feed. Not everyone has a feed or a beer. Everyone goes to a bar for a piss. But I built the best urinal in Australia, and everyone goes, "Did you ever go to that bar for that pisser?" It's amazing. So people would just turn up at the bar for a piss, and it was that cool. I went, "Oh, how good am I doing?" However, halfway through the build, I did a drug deal that got me arrested.
And who is it? So this is now we're talking. What was your mate's name?
Craig Putty.
Craig Putty. And this is when his sister saw you with a bag of.
No, so when I got arrested,
This is later.
Craig Putty, highly successful businessman, worth a ton of money, hangs around rugby league like I hang around rugby league. We're good mates.
Yeah.
He, we and him are mates. He's got a big business, huge business. His old man is a chairman of the board of United Equipment. Me and him are great mates. I get arrested doing cocaine, and the cops seize all my assets. Anyway, I can't build the pub because it's all my assets building the pub. He's me mate. He lends me $500,000 the next day. He's now involved in the pub. This is how he becomes involved. So a little bit down the track, we take another 3 or 4 months to build the pub. He gives me another $250,000. So he's $750,000 in the pub. He ends up becoming a shareholder of the pub.
Yep.
That's how we're mates, right? So that's the thing. So I still have my business. Everything's going like that. And that's how things were sorted out. But because I was arrested in 2008, I knew it was 2009, but 2009 I got arrested. But I knew I was going to jail, right? I just knew I was going to jail. So I drunk like a fucking fish for about 7 months straight.
Yeah.
And I had a crack at every fucking female in the fucking district of Peppermint Grove to Fremantle at that particular point
And
of
you
time.
would have done well on in the pub, wouldn't you?
A lot better than you think I look at right now, I'm telling you. So, yeah, I did a lot better than
If you have
think.
a pub and cocaine in Perth, you're doing just fine.
Well, that's what I thought I was too.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's so the thing about it is that's how Craig got involved.
yeah.
But I knew I was going to jail. So I went to jail in June 2009.
What has happened with this other guy, Mansell? So how did he fit in?
When I come back to play rugby league, my business was going gangbusters. I was sponsoring the rugby club. And I'd go out. I'd go, Grady, you've been out with me. I'm a loudmouth. I think I'm cool. And if you're the biggest guy in the room, I'm going to have a fucking talk to you and I overcrack you. That's how I met the old big Maori boy in fucking Brisbane.
Yeah.
But I run into Cramer Mansell, and Cramer Mansell looks like Lance Whitnell from Carlton back in the day. And yeah, we're 13 years over the fact that Lance Whitnell was the person that played footy. And my business partner at the time, he goes, oh, yeah, do you ever play rugby league? He goes, no, I play over his rules. And if you're a rugby league guy, go, you're a gay guy.
Yeah.
Because every rugby league player, you're fucking soft because you play Aussie rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, oh, yeah, you think I'm soft, do you? I went, yeah, you're fucking soft. Come and play a game of rugby league, see how you fucking go. He did. So
Does Mansell he was cool at this point?
Yeah, because he come and played, and then we went, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he hang out. So he became this cool guy. And now he knew a whole heap of guys, like from things. So I know a heap of random weirdos, you know a heap of random weirdos. Mm-hmm. But he goes, I was at Wayne Carey's wedding. And I went, really? And he pulls out this photo, because I'm that guy that does this. I go, you weren't there. And he goes, yeah, here it was. So he pulled out his photo with him at Wayne Carey's fucking wedding. He's a groomsman. Wow, okay. The guy could back his shit up and he come and played footy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we become mates. I was over east running the business. He was hanging around doing this, that and the other. Anyway, I start trying to, and we talked about this before, I'm not allowed to go too much into detail in it. So I started...
Wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, wheeling and dealing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is if in Brisbane at the time...
Well, you've been convicted of this?
Yeah.
You can talk about it.
Yeah, but what I'm convicted of and what I do are two completely...
Yeah, well, look, he got caught on his first deal, all right? That's what we're going to... But that deal that you got caught for...
do the numbers. It's a magic plea bargain.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is like, I knew someone over there that could bring... an extra was cheap. And it was proper cheap. Anyway,
Yeah.
if I could get it to WA, I could probably buy my pub a lot faster than I could.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Mansell was a vehicle for me at some particular point in time. However, down the track, my guy that I used to be getting my gear off come to WA for a surf life saving event and met Mansell, and they cut me out of the deal. So then Mansell becomes a dog.
Yep.
And I don't trust him as far as I'm going to throw him.
How'd he cut you out of the deal?
Well, ecstasy tablets back in Perth at the time were probably $50. In Darwin, probably 60.
A piece.
Yeah, a
Wow.
pill. Because back then it was okay stuff. Because I remember, because I used to be cool back then.
Yeah.
I used to be fit and be able to, hey. Yeah. Anyway, in Brisbane, $12. I could sell them in Perth wholesale for $24. My cut for that was just get the cocaine. So I'm getting 2 ounces of cocaine. Mm. So he's paying for it. I'm getting 2 ounces for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in the greatest fucking world going around. So that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
They end up meeting. They cut me out of the middle ground. So next minute,
Yeah. Sounds like the movie Blow. You know, when Johnny Depp gets betrayed by
he just cuts me out of the deal. Anyway, so fuck you.
Yeah.
So down the track, I never spoke to the guy again. Right? And I went, no, don't trust him. Don't do this. Anyway, and the thing about it is it comes down to, and it goes forward and backwards. And we tried to talk about this before. I just didn't trust him from that point on. But I'd got done for what I got done for. And then he got done for a deal. And Craig Putty testified in court and perjured himself to get him off a deal. Now, that deal, this is what we talked about before, and I remember the name now, Diago.
Yeah.
Andrew Weber.
So Craig Putty, multi-millionaire, lends you the 500K. You're good with Manson. He cuts you. Yeah, Mansell. And he cuts you out of the deal and he screws you over.
Yep.
You go away and what happens next?
So Mansell beats the drug deal that he was done because Andrew Weber turned up dead as a Crown witness.
Well, like, so how did he die? What, like, cause of death?
Suicide.
Yeah, okay.
Jeffrey Epstein styles.
Yeah.
Shoot yourself twice in the face.
Yeah.
Turned up dead. Anyway, a little bit suspicious, but he got off. Anyway, I'm in jail and I was reading the Sunday Times and it had new bar manager, brought all these people in and he was an AFL affiliated guy with Byron. And Craig Putty rings me and I remember the day, and I'm not trying to dispute this, but I think it was the 6th of February 2010.
Yeah.
Craig rings me and I said, what's that fuckwit got anything to do with my pub? Because he's in the paper saying he's the manager bringing all these people. And he goes, because you're inside, he's bringing all the people in. That's what we're going to do. I said, I don't trust him, Mr. Ellis, I can throw him. He goes, I don't either. 5 months later, Craig Putty got murdered by Cameron Mansell.
But this is where we get to where so his mom went to the house, found puddles of blood, but no body.
Yep.
To this day, the body's never been found.
Yep.
While in prison, because Mansell allegedly didn't do it himself, right?
No, he got convicted of it.
Right.
I always thought Craig Putty, the day his body was announced missing and murdered, was on my 40th birthday in jail.
Yeah.
Right? On my 40th birthday. Now, on the whole podcast, we talked about my rugby career where I broke my neck on my 21st birthday. On my 40th birthday, I was in jail. My best mate got murdered. And on my 50th birthday, it was COVID and my best mate forgot the fucking booking for the only pub I could ever have it thing. So all my major birthday dates, don't hang around because they don't do good stuff for me, right?
Yeah.
Now, when that happened, I knew exactly who had killed him and I knew exactly why. And no one knew. So I ended up hearing that story on the news. So I went down to the management and you know what it's like when you're in prison. You can't go down and talk to a screw or sort of thing. Yeah. So the police come and got me and they had this, like, I think it was about 13, 14 hour interview with me.
Straight.
Yeah, because I'm the only one who knew what happened.
Yeah.
And I was in, the thing about it is this is horrible. I got the best alibi on the planet. I was in prison.
Yeah.
But I knew exactly who'd killed him. And I think I know what happened to him. And the reason why we're in this podcast, I think I know where his body is.
That's right. Like very specifically, and we can't tell what, but yeah, you have some information that is definitely very, very intriguing. And yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Like, can we go find a body? Like, so we got Clarky here who accidentally broke his mate out of jail. Hey, Clarky, how you doing, bro?
Hey, good, bro.
Yes. So he goes and finds gold, and Diego's like, "Well, can you go to jail for finding a body?" I go, "Well, if you can't go to jail for finding gold, you can't go to jail for finding a body, right?" Put the mic there.
They hand out rewards, don't they, for finding bodies?
Well, here's the thing, right? What I said to everyone when it happened, they go, "You can't." How does that happen? I said, I got out of jail in 2013, 14 or something like that. And I got arrested 1 or 2 times, not badly or sometimes badly, but I got arrested and I got pulled over by the assistant commissioner of the police. And I remember breaching my parole and I went, "Oh, how you going? I'm Craig Putty's business partner. I think I know where his body is." And I just went, whatever. And they just brushed me, right? So I went back
They didn't try to charge you for the murder.
Look, the thing about it was they brushed me and they didn't want to know because they've got a conviction.
Yeah.
Because they got a conviction. And I said, it's jailhouse rumour. And we talked about it on our first podcast and we'll go through it in this podcast about how I know or how I think I know what I know. The thing about it is when I breached my parole, I said, I'm Craig Putty's business partner. I reckon I know where his body was. They went, piss off. I got pulled over by the Assistant Commissioner of Police years later for having a stubby and a beer. Like I didn't get convicted of it, nothing. I just had a stubby. I said, I know where the body is. And they went, I don't want to know. I even had an interview with Adam Shand, who wrote Underbelly.
Yep.
He goes, I love what you're saying, Horse. Just we need a bit more than that. I said, I just need to know where the police was searching for the body, and I reckon I can give you a fucking search area that we could find the body. And they just didn't want to know. And every person, and this is what we discussed before, why wouldn't they want to know? Because they've got a conviction. It opens a can of worms. It means they open who was also involved, who was covering up something. And the thing about it was, they go, oh, it's just jail. Daniel Morecambe, the 12-year-old who was murdered and raped by a fucking pedophile in Queensland, was found on jailhouse rumour because they put two people in this jail cell and they talked and he goes, oh, this is where we did this and this and that. I've got the same information in my head and I've had it for 14 fucking years. And we talked about this before and people go, oh, and it's in my head. And I don't know if we can find it. I don't know if we need. I just need to know the search area that the police went through because for what I was told and what I know, I reckon we could open a new search. Right. But because they've got a conviction, they're happy.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
The guy that told you where the body is, he actually said there's several other bodies there, didn't he?
Well, before Craig got murdered,
Yeah.
I was in jail. And look, here's the thing. I'm not proud to say that I went to jail.
Right, that's all right.
Right? But I'm not proud to say I went to jail. And you go, oh. And then you meet people in jail, oh, yeah, I went to jail. And that thing is the greatest thing they've ever been through because it gives us some sort of credence. I couldn't stand the fact that I said I went to jail. And we've talked about this off air and stuff like that. Mate, I didn't want to be to jail. I don't want to be to, but people go, yeah, I do this. And people want to talk. And you said this on the last podcast. What are lies in jail?
Man, you think they...
Except for when it comes to gold, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah. Please don't bring me to gold. But yeah, in jail, you think everybody's hard and like there's so many people that just bullshit about like what they've done, how they've done it. They get caught with like a gram of meth, and by the like 3 months into it, then it was half a kilo, then it was 4 kilos, and they were moving shiploads over. Like, okay, but I mean, it's unbelievable.
When I first went to jail, and it's not cool, but I've got a cool crime. I'm a drug convicted person, so I haven't raped a person, haven't bashed a kid or something like that. I don't know. Drugs, and the thing about it is, and I told you about this on the last one. My crime is for drug trafficking and drug dealing, right? In jail, that's cool. Until you go to the sycamore tree and you meet the mother of a kid who died from the only ecstasy tablet they've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm now the demon in their life, right? Because it affects them. And I thought, oh, yeah, what I'm doing doesn't hurt anyone. But I don't know what my criminality, how it affects someone else, right? Yeah. And here's the thing. I always thought, oh, yeah, you must be cool because you sold drugs or something else. And I went, I don't think I'm cool. But then you meet a parent of a kid who died from one tablet, one this or one that. I'm now their demon, right? And that
scarred you, didn't it?
It resonates with me because everyone goes, oh, you're cool, whatever. No, I'm not cool. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about jail for me was I used to own a business that was a reputable labouring business, and someone stole my car and stole my trailer and torched it, put all the tools into cash converters or whatever. That's the person that I'm angry at. because that affected me personally.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care if someone else did something else or something else, but that actually affected me personally because that's how it affected me. And because I'm supposed to be, untouchable Joe, until you meet the parents of someone who dies from that drug interaction, that resonated with me.
Yeah. So that's tough to deal with every now, especially because like how do you deal with that? But I would just say it's almost like you feel horrible for the parents, but it's almost like being the manufacturer of a car. You can't take blame because you built a car and somebody wanted to drive a car and they crashed a car and died. Drugs are different, but humans have for centuries wanted to take mind-altering things from alcohol to mushrooms to peyote. You can't. Everybody kind of knows there's a risk that does it, and they take that risk when they do it. Nobody thinks it's actually going to affect them the way it does. So, I mean, yeah, it's horrible, but it wasn't you. I would say just don't carry that on your shoulders because I'm not trying to lighten the situation of people whose kids have died, but that one didn't. Like, this is traced directly back to you.
I know. And the thing about it is you get this resonance in your head, like people go, "Oh, Horse, you did that. He did the time." Yeah, no, it's cool. There's nothing about jail is good. However, it gives you time to reflect about what you should do and where you shouldn't need to be, right? Yeah. And then there's people that go, "That's the best life they're ever going to have," and that sadness that you feel for those people that are in jail, you go, "That's the best they've got it."
Yeah.
Right. And that's just a real situation that you think about. That some people, I'm not saying people choose to go to jail, but people do it because it might be a better option for them. And to have
we were just talking. We got Clarky here, the guy that broke his mate out of prison on accident. My cellmate that tortured me with gold stories, and he's actually a genius. But we've also got his dad that's sitting in here, and his dad's been in prison, in like Fremantle prison, and we were talking about it earlier. Like you get institutionalized, and there was guys in there. I know one guy that he was like 45 years old, and he's done about 20 something years in prison. And when it was his time came up, he's like, "Can I stay here?" He didn't want to go. You know, so...
I remember in Carnet once, and the bloke goes to mate, "How good is this?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Mate, I've got a roof over my head. I'm getting a feed 3 times a day."
Someone's washing my clothes.
Yeah, but the thing about it was I never thought about that because my life experience was not that hard that I did it and go, "Oh, how long you lost?" I lost it because I chose to do an act that was going to get me convicted to go to jail. That was my choice.
Yeah.
The point about it is people start talking.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where we're going back. So I apologise for digressing. But when you go to jail, you go, "What did you do?" I say, "Oh, yeah, this, that, whatever." I don't do a lot of drugs, but I did. But I was a soldier. I don't talk about that too much. This bloke goes, yeah, mate. Yes, what are you doing here? And he said something. I'm not saying if it's good, and I don't know if this should go to air and you can cut it out. And he goes, "What'd you do?" And he goes, "I raped a chick." And I went, "Well, that's not cool. Because any rapist in jail, it's not cool."
Right.
But he said to me, he goes, "Mate, guy owed me money." I said, "If you don't pay me money, I'm going to rape your missus." And he goes, "What happened?" He goes, "He didn't pay me, I raped his missus." And like it's a horrendous situation. Yep. But he did that. Now, as a person, and I'm not advocating for that. Point about is, who's at fault? The guy that didn't pay him, or the guy that gave him what he said he was going to do? So it's a real dynamic. So do you not trust the guy for not doing what he did, or do you say the guy for disrespecting him for not doing what he did? You know
sounds like they're both pieces of shit. But back to
but here's the
guy.
thing.
Well, they're both pieces of shit, and that is what it is. You can see you can think which one is more evil or whatever, but they're both pieces of shit. But when you're in jail,
but this is where we're going for, Diego. So that guy who did that, he's got some gravitas when he says, "Mate, we used to put bodies here."
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And 6 months before that happened, he puts bodies there. Is he just talking shit, or is he all talking shit? Right. So guess what? So 6 months before everything happened, it was all shit. Okay. He's talking shit. But the guy who's in jail for talking shit, did what he said he was going to do and told it. So he's just a shit talker and he goes, oh, we put bodies under this stuff and this. Now, let's go forward to Craig Putty dying.
So you're saying he followed through and then he told you where the body is, and then you're saying, fair enough, you have to believe that guy because he followed through with what he said he was going to do. Is that what you're saying?
What I said to you on the first podcast was the bloke, I didn't believe anything he said before anything. I said, he's a smart ass, but he did go to jail, said, I'm going to rape the chick, and he raped the chick. Now, as I can hear your angst from behind the mic. It's not cool what he said, right? But he said it.
But it validates what he's saying to you.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so now if you don't do what you're going to do, I'm going to do this. Who's at fault? The guy who didn't want to do it or the guy who fucking backed up what he said he was going to do? There's a conflict there, right? Now, he says this to me. And he goes, oh, yeah, so he's a bit of a gangster. And he goes, oh, yeah, I grew up fucking looking at fucking bodies in my fucking garage with fucking dad and this, that and the other. And I'm not saying the biker gang and stuff like that, but he was sitting there. And he goes, mate, we'd open the fucking freezer and there's bodies and stuff like that. I go, yeah, whatever, mate. And you go, yeah, he's a dickhead, whatever. But, okay, but the guy's in jail for saying what he said. And he said that out loud. That's not what he said. Yeah. But, okay, then he goes... Mansell ends up on the thing. He goes, oh, yeah. I said, oh, he's got it. I said, oh, mate, he wouldn't do that. And he goes, no, he wouldn't, but we would. I said, what do you mean? He goes, mate, we had to deal with him once and he asked us to do something for us and he didn't follow through with it. And we had a crack at him. And I went, oh, yeah, no worries. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this. Cameron Mansell beat a fucking criminal charge with Craig Putty purging himself because his fucking Crown accused turned up dead. He turned up dead and he beat the charge. Who killed the bloke that he was his co-accused?
I know I'm not there. I don't know anyone.
No, but here's the thing. What he did, the guy died and he beat the fucking thing. So now is it fucking bullshit or is it fucking thing? So when you go forward, he goes, oh, yeah. I said, Mansell wouldn't have killed Craig. He goes, I said, Mansell doesn't have the balls. He goes, he doesn't, but we do. And all of a sudden you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's some gravitas behind it. Now, when Craig goes missing, old mate walks past my thing, my room, he goes, they're looking on the wrong side of the road.
Same guy.
Same guy. Diego, we talked about this before. He said they're looking on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
Now, old mate is giving him, number one, he's in jail for 8 to 12 years for doing the shit.
Yeah.
Who don't have to rape and a bitch and so that's horrible. It's horrendous. Yeah. But he goes, yeah, no worries. He goes, oh, yeah, mate. But 6 months before all of this, he goes, yeah, man, I used to be a gangster. Looked at bodies in my fucking father's fucking freezer, and we used to put bodies over here. And he actually described where he used to put the bodies. And I went, and that meant nothing to me because it meant nothing to him. Yeah, but then he goes, oh, yeah, Mansell wouldn't have done that. Oh, yeah. And I said, he wouldn't have done that. I said, yeah, but he does it, we do. And then next minute he goes, okay, there's a reference between them two.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the thing about it is, and when they're looking for Craig 3 days after my 40th birthday, he goes, they're on the wrong side of the road. I've never forgotten that. I've never, ever forgotten it.
And he didn't have any reason to say that.
No, because he was big known the first time. He was big known the second time. Right?
So we essentially just need to find out where we're looking across the road.
As I told you with Adam Shand, get me the fucking map of where the police were there, and we've talked about this and we talked about this off air. I've got enough relevance to open a new search up.
Yep.
But the police don't want to open it up because they've got a conviction. Now, so when we talk about his murder,
right.
Have you ever been to Craig Putty's house? Well, I have. They took his car into the fucking into the pine forest. It's I'm a big strong guy. You're a big strong guy. You're a big strong guy. Ever lifted a dead body, put it in a wheelie bin and put it in the back of a fucking Jeep Wrangler with no fucking room?
I'm not going to say.
Take the microphone away. Tom, take that microphone.
Listen, he's got the wrong interpretation of that. I shot a kangaroo, right? Now, this was a kangaroo. This was from one side of the oval to the other side. Now,
A 90-kilo kangaroo is a very heavy kangaroo.
this was at a footy oval, right? Now, somebody believed that I couldn't take the shot from one side of the oval to the other. It was a 22 semi-automatic. It had a 30x30 scope on it. It was a Brownie 3-piece rifle, right, with a tripod. Now, I took that shot and I counted 1 and 2 and I got it on a leap, right, on 3. And I fucking got it just underneath the neck. And
Get the microphone to your face.
the bullet has rebounded up into the brain and is like mid-air, like this kangaroo's flipped off a 22. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. And still, I probably couldn't even replicate it. You know what I mean? Not from one side of a footy oval. But to then go and drag that dead kangaroo across a fucking oval and the kangaroo's, well, old figure is a lot lighter than a human. I mean, I haven't weighed him. I don't know.
42, 43 kilo tops.
But to try, and I was on the gas and I was training and stuff. Like I was pretty strong to drag that fucking kangaroo. Like I couldn't lift it up. I was dragging it by its tail across the oval. It was fucking heavy, man.
Mate, I'm a soldier.
I don't know.
I'm a soldier. Half of our training is about carrying fucking
Bodies.
carrying
dead body.
Yeah, well, carrying
Dead weight body.
Yeah, it's the thing, and it's not easy to do. We talked about this in the last podcast. It's not easy. So the prelim to the thing is this: if you want to try to put a body in a car of that size, if you knew the house that he was killed in, it's not easy. I just knew from day one he had help.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why we're having this podcast is he had help.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why he's going to do 18 years, and here's the thing, he gets out in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
All right, or not quite 2 years.
Well, isn't it no body, no parole?
Yeah, here's the thing. They changed the body no parole thing because of Mansell, because he wouldn't give it up. So, but he'll do 16. That's your length of sentence. Because WA is only 2 years of parole.
That's right.
No body parole. He won't get parole, but he'll be out in 2018.
Yeah.
Right? And
2028.
Oh, yeah, 28, yeah. But the thing about it is he gets out and he walks out and he goes, and that's the secret he holds for everyone, right? I want to help. His family hate me. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
His sisters hate me. They all hate me. And we'll glorify my drug use before in the last podcast because they hate me.
Not Mansell's family, the other family.
Putty's family. But this is the thing, like everybody chooses to do drugs. Like they just like you choose to drink, just like you choose to do whatever. And there's like, man, I don't know anybody that, I know very few people that have never touched a drug or don't everybody dabbles a bit.
But they blame me, and I understand why they blame me.
Yeah.
It's a sliding doors moment. If I don't get arrested, Craig doesn't give me $500,000 to buy into my pub.
Yeah.
Right? If he doesn't give me the next one, he doesn't meet Cameron Mansell, they don't have an interaction without me.
Right.
They blame me for it, and I understand exactly why. I'm not responsible. I have the best alibi in the planet.
And you love the guy. The guy was your mate.
Mate, Craig Putty, his old man, is a multi-millionaire and successful as fuck. Craig Putty and me, we're arrogant pieces of this thing. And he hated me as a footballer because I was a nasty prick. And he was an arrogant prick. And we go, but you know what? We understand arrogant pricks. With all due respect, my friend Grady Scott Stewart sitting over there, we are fucking close mates, but we're very, very similar. We're arrogant, we're fucking hard, and we're bigger, better than most other people. But you know what? We get each other because that's what we are, because no one else gets us, because you can't live in our sphere.
No, right? It is like that's like, just like what Diego said today. Like what we consider normal is so bizarre to people. And I think this is why this podcast is going to do well because of guys like you, Clark, like Tom's dad, Diego, even though he's Brazilian, whatever.
Hey,
and we got Clarky's dad who did Fremantle Prison, which is, I mean, that was a torture chamber. They didn't even have toilets; they had buckets.
I talked to his old man before. The thing about it was, Grady, is there's no one. Craig Putty looked at me and goes, everyone hates you. And I went, yeah, because I'm an arrogant piece of crap. And he goes, yeah, because that's what I did as an athlete. If you didn't hate me, I wasn't only going to be any good, because that's what drove me as an athlete. And his old man, he goes, everyone thought about him. He goes, oh, have a look at how much money you got given your old man. He goes, my old man give me nothing.
Yeah.
He give me nothing. And he goes, but everyone thinks that. He goes, and he was a smart ass, he was a prick. Tightest prick in the world. He died with $30 million in the bank, but he'd never buy a carton of beer to save his life. The point about it was he was my friend.
Yeah.
And he'd give me $500,000 the day I got arrested because he trusted me.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because no one else trusted me and no one trusted him. And the thing about it is all his business partners are all $100 million and I'm still trying to find where his body is.
Yeah. Well, but let's make that happen, because, I mean, you have amends to pay to the family, yeah? I mean, you want, like, they dislike you. And you love Putty. Did you like? I mean, tell me, your relationship with him, was it good at the end?
Craig Putty and me had this relationship. He had a business. His old man. This is actually what happened to him. His old man owned WA forklifts, Crown forklifts, and he gave Craig the opportunity to buy WA Access. He was losing $5 million or whatever thing, and they sold it 3 years later for $17 million. And in his house, had the $17 million fucking check on the thing. So John Jones is one of those contributors to that check for $17 million. John Jones is now worth $100 million fucking dollars through Craig, right? Craig's old man sold the business and went on the board of United Equipment. Craig took over a business called Merlo, the lime green telescopic handlers from Italy. And he goes, Dad, I'm going to take over this business. I'm going to set it up in Perth, then I'll set it up in Sydney. And he employed all his mates, and they're all dickhead footballers like me. They're not best businessmen, but he looked after all his mates. No. And his old man goes, no worries, I'm on the board of directors. We could probably do a deal with you. So Craig set up this massive fucking company Australia-wide, and his old man fucking did a deal with JCB and cut Craig out of the whole fucking business. So now Craig's got this business in 3 different states, and that was what we had in common, because everyone fucking thinks we're entitled, and he got stooge, and I was his mate.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes, why are you hanging out with Horse? I'm a lunatic. He goes, Horse is actually really nice if you had to know, because we do what we say we're going to do. We're loyal, and we wouldn't fucking do that to anyone else. But his parents did it to him. My parents did it, and we had that bond.
Bro, so let me, I would chime in with like Horse. Like he's loud, he is arrogant. Like I'm telling you, he's an absolute animal. But his place, he is help. He like there's video of him beating up his employees and stuff like that. But that being said, you help people, man. Like, and this is what I told Jetson. I said, man, the Horse's biggest strength is actually his kind heart, because about how many people you help, and that's the kind of the we're a bunch of bad people, like, in society's eyes, but my whole plan is to do good. Like, us bad guys do it good for good, like, people. So you can tell the big tough story, but I know you got a good heart, man.
Yeah, but we've been six weeks since the first podcast.
I can't remember that far back, but yeah.
Right, but the thing about it is that podcast, it was natural and it was great. It was 6 weeks ago, right? Or whatever. And we go, oh, that was cool. Yeah. And he goes, what was that? I said, because all we're trying to do is do the best for ourselves, right? And there's nothing that you've done is not been the best for yourself. Nothing I've done for the best for us. And here we are 6 weeks later, doing the best for ourselves. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do.
That's it.
That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah, I want to do better than the best for ourselves. I want to do good for everybody. So we got Tom Calabria here, who's his dad's in jail for murder, and it's an unjustified one, as in my opinion. He's now got solicitors. We've got Clarky. We're helping him with the gold. This guy is an absolute, like. He's like a metal detector in human form. Like, he goes out there and finds gold. Like, you done pretty good. You did 4,000, 12,000, 33,000, 44,000.
Thanks for the tax department.
Yeah. That's it. But yeah. Put your microphone up, Mikey. If you're gonna join in. You can't do shit half-ass.
Yep.
Good. So, how's your gold fighting going? We were helping you get some equipment.
So last podcast we touched base on it. I was just getting back into it. So what had happened, having a criminal background and stuff like that, no motherfucker will employ me because they're cocksuckers. They don't give a fuck about hard workers. Excuse my French.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, Clarky's my mate. If he broke one mate out of prison, I'll hire you all day long, man. I want you on my side, man.
So I got all my tickets, stuff like that, experience, blah blah blah. Fucking I can work like a fucking animal in like summer. Hey old boy, I got pulled out of school when I was like 10 or 12 years old because I was always getting suspended. And I was getting dragged out to do fucking landscaping, lay limestone walls and all, and getting paid to chase lizards as well.
What? What do you mean you got paid to chase lizards? Australia's just too strange for me, man. I don't know, but actually it's not strange enough. But.
So all this crap that the government's brought in and stuff about criminal records and background checks and blah, blah, blah. And you've got a bunch of immigrants that come over here and lie about their fucking work history, this and that take priority over all these jobs. Like, I'm not saying in every case, but like making things harder for like Australians, you know, and they're coming here on working visas and they're getting jobs and taking them from Australian citizens. So I found it very hard to do a job. I was trying to juggle university, degree in fine art as well. I'm an artist, street artist. And so I couldn't get a job and I just said, you know what, I'm going up to Kalgoorlie. I'm going to go prospecting. I'm going to make some money from gold. Everyone's like, oh, you won't make money from gold. You got to move like 100 tons of dirt to get like 1 ounce of gold and you don't have the equipment to do that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it. Don't worry about that. I've done it before and I'll do it again. I said, but before I was only at the starting point. I wasn't even getting warmed up. I said, now I'm fired up.
Right.
And so I went out there for a week, 4 days it was, and I come back with, I don't know, I think it was $4,000 or something, $5,000 in gold. I brought that back and everyone's like, oh yeah, that was beginner's luck. Like this stuff's going to die off soon. It's like, nah, well, this is all I've got to rely on. I mean, if I don't come back with gold in my pocket, like if I'm up there and I don't find gold, I've got to find maybe another avenue to find gold, because if I come back with no gold, my balls are on the chopping block and they're getting cut off. And that ain't going to happen. I've got a family to support. So I don't go up there to fuck around and party and fucking and come back with nothing and listen to the missus fucking whinge and whine for the next week and then not let me go on the next trip.
So hold on. Let me just go full circle, because Clark has been working his ass off. And this is how we all work together. You have a warehouse where you do your demo stuff. He's brought over 2 giant machines, and we have no place to store it. So guess who's put their hand up and said, you know what, you can put your stuff here, and you've got now 2 giant machines of Clarkies stored at your place, and we're getting ready to move that up to Kalgoorlie in the next few days.
They'll go up to Kalgoorlie within the next week, and we should be able to process 3 ton an hour. I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, if it's shit ground, we're getting a gram a tonne, which is around $150 per tonne. So, I mean, if we're doing 3 tonnes an hour,
all I know is this.
$450 an hour.
All I know is this. I work like a death to get my work. You work harder than me to get you what you're going to, and there's no guarantee on it, right? Yep. He's working 23 hours a day.
No. I'm the first person in history to work 30 hours a day. I work 30 hours a day. And I'm the first and only person.
The point about it is, the people in this room, right, we want to make money, we want to work hard, right? And if you're sitting in this room and you don't think you can work hard and you don't think you can validate what you do for a thing, fine. But the point about it is that I make it, you put yourself in a unique situation to make what you need to make. He's making in a unique situation to make what he needs to make. I'm making it, and there's 3 or 4 other people in this room are making what they need to make. Yep. The thing about it is hard work is hard work.
Yep.
The benefits from hard work, who knows what that's going to be. But hard work is a premise of life, and hopefully that pays off. But it doesn't happen all the time everywhere because here we are.
And most people can see a boss enjoying life and doing nothing. And they go, oh, that boss doesn't work hard. He got everything handed to him. No, bullshit. That boss built an empire or a business or whatever he's established, and he's gone through the stresses, the hard yards, and probably filed bankruptcy a couple of times or whatever, but still got to where he wanted to go.
Well, all right, first of all, we've got to give a mention to Mitch's wife. She's an absolute psycho. She's coming here and she's been pointing guns at us and telling us to behave. We're happy to have her. She's a straight gangster, and she's not the biggest person in the world, but she's terrifying. I promise we're not tearing this place apart. She's told us to behave. We had to babysit her dog Sebastian, who is a vicious attack dog. He's bit me twice. He's about 8 inches tall, about 11 inches long.
Yeah, we're sorry for holding Mitch late nights.
Yeah.
Definitely not gangster girl.
well, what are you doing with that? What are you doing with that gun pointed at me?
For legal reasons, it is a replica.
Horse. So do you? As Clarky just mentioned, with criminal records and trying to get jobs, when someone comes to you, because you employ a lot of people, so when someone comes to you and they have a criminal record, how do you deal with that?
Look, what I say is this: is when I first got out of jail, I had nothing, and with all due respect, I went to jail, and I told my business partner, I said, "I'll go to jail. We'll do what we're going to do, and just as long as I got everything what I had, got out." I lost my pub. My best mate got murdered. I lost $5.9 million personally, a $10 million company, and I got out of jail with the suit that I went to jail in, and I was 40 kilos lighter and didn't fit. I fit at deluxe right now, and it's probably a bit tight on me now. However, that's what I had, and I had nothing. And when you have nothing, that's where you fight from, right? That's all I ever had was nothing. Now I'm going okay. Everyone goes, oh, are you going okay? What's going okay mean for me? When I tell people you can do anything from nothing because nothing is nothing, so everything is making it happen. All I know is this. Now I've forgotten my fucking point.
Your point is you horse. Anyway, when I gotta agree because I hit negative. Man, I'm at my age. You get out of prison, and you go in there with cash. Negative $5 in my account. You think you have a reputation, and you know what? I'm actually I took a screenshot of that time. I was negative $5 in my account, and I thought, you probably people understand suffering more than others. I was humiliated to go out in public and do anything. I wanted to start this podcast.
What were you talking about, Viago? I've forgotten what I was talking about.
Grady's getting to the point.
I'm getting to the point. So
it's essentially
starting from nothing when you were 40 kilos too heavy for your suit when you got out of prison, starting from nothing. So I'm understanding that how you did, and now you're building it back. You've got a company, and you do it well.
And then do you, when people come with you with criminal records, how do you deal with that?
Because every human being, now, one of the reasons I'm sitting across from this road, from this man here, is because when I was in jail, and he goes, oh, yeah, whatever. And he goes, and when I was saying, hey, you won't go to jail, I said, I understand everything you've been through. Because I said, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I've been to war. I've fucking done stuff that you don't want to do. I've broken my neck and this, and I got out of jail, and I'm a hard person, right? And I got out of jail. And when I got out of jail, I said, no worries, and I did this, and I snapped my cruise shit 3 days after I got out of jail. But I breached my parole by drinking one beer. And on that breach of parole, it was the first time I got to blame myself for what I went through. Because when I went to jail the first time, I did it for other people, to protect other people and doing all this. But when I got done for DUI, for drinking alcohol when I wasn't allowed to drink alcohol, it was the first time I've ever had to blame myself. And you know what? I look in the mirror and I go, that was my fault. Because I could blame everyone else all the time.
Yeah.
Right now, that was my thing. Every person that comes and goes, Horse, I've been in jail. I said, you know what? I went to jail and I got out and everything. And I'm a talented person in terms of I'm smart, I can do this, and I couldn't cope. Couldn't cope. The bloke who sits across me in the podcast, he couldn't cope either. Guess what? He doesn't want to tell that to me. I didn't want to tell it to him. And guess what? We've got this synergy because, Horse, you know what? You said that was really hard. I went, yeah. He goes, that was really hard. I went, I know. And he goes, it's fucking fucked, man. I went, I know. And he goes, you're the only person who could tell me that. And I went, but I was telling you that because you're so smart and I can't tell you how hard it was because I'm bigger, tougher, braver than anyone else. And he goes, I couldn't tell anyone about it because we were Clarkie sitting over here, big, tough hammer. He doesn't tell you that. No one tells him that because no one can
No one tells anyone that, really. I mean,
no, because it's embarrassing to say I'm struggling.
Yep.
And the thing about it was, and he goes, and because I said, Grady, and we're 3 years out of getting out and this, and he goes, and I said, it's the hardest thing you've ever been through. And he goes, no, yeah, I'll be right. I said, mate, it's tough. He goes, I didn't believe you. And I went, I know you didn't believe me because I didn't believe it myself and I was struggling.
Yep.
Right? And it's a bravado thing. Big, and I don't know Clarkie from a bar of soap, but he's my mate because guess what?
you do know me from a bar as over.
No, but yeah. I was bent over and hot. But anyway. Bullshit it was. But the thing about it is the point about it is how do you make yourself how do you make yourself better?
But he got out with the talent in jail.
But how do you make yourself better? You can't do it. It's humility.
Yeah.
And
That's
humility is impossible to get when you've never had it.
I understand what you're saying, and I think that's why this podcast seems to resonate with people. Like we've done no marketing whatsoever, and there's episodes that are already at 20,000. We've only done this for a couple of months, and I think those stories with people that are criminals, but they have incredible pasts. Like you played NRL, you were in France, you were in the Legion, you were in the army, and then you went to jail. And
it's my life.
Yeah, and these podcasts like this, I think it allows for people to see people that don't speak open up.
Diago, everyone asked me, he goes, fuck man, your life's really interesting. I said, mate, I don't think it is. It's just my life.
Yeah.
And I wrote books when I was in jail, and I've written two. One, both of them can only be released when I die, right? And the first one is this. It's a story of my life is never quite was. I wasn't a has-been. I was never anything. I never quite was. The story of the human doorstop. And the Craig Putty murder is called The Basement of Broken Dreams. Because I know where his body. I think I know where his body is.
So let me ask you this, Diago. Who would be like if we wanted to find a body? And is this the? Yeah, you're good. Go. Anyway, if you wanted to find a body, who finds it? Is that geology? Like who knows how to see soil? I know in some places they do like they can put sticks in the ground and then test to see if the dirt is softer. I mean, what kind of person can map the land to see if there's been disturbance there?
Well, the main thing is that you met someone in jail that said it is across the road and they're essentially involved in a murder, and they had no reason to say any of that. So you know that it's across the road from somewhere. You just can't get the police to tell you exactly what it is. The first thing you would do is you'd go and you'd apply for a freedom of information to get where the search location is. And then you go across the road with the search team and find it there. Your first step will be the freedom of information.
Well, my point being is because it's been so many years, is the land would have settled, but there's also I watch true crime stuff, and that even over years, hardened land is softer where people have been buried. Who finds that? Who knows that kind of stuff?
Archaeologists.
Clarkie, could you find Clarkie? Excuse me, Clarkie's in another world.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
The thing about it is if I went to Adam Shand, who wrote The Underbelly, and he's on TV now and talks about all this true crime stuff. the government doesn't want to open this up because they have a conviction. It's a closed case.
Yeah, but you can force the government to open up.
No, I can't force the government. You can force the family to say, would you like to fucking find this? Right? The family don't want to hear from me. Right? And I've told you about this stories in the last podcast where, because I'm me, I said, I think I know where he's, and me goes, no, it's because they hate me. I understand they hate me. But do you want to find where your son is?
Yeah.
But what does that bring up for them?
I think it brings them closure, man. I say let's go find them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand it brings them closure. But remember, I'm bringing something back from years and years ago. The Rockefeller case in Australia, which is from the Rockefellers in the United States, the two bodies got found out, killed and burnt in a fucking. They got found on burnt in a thing because old mate was a swinger. Come off an airplane, doesn't go home to his wife, goes and hooks up with these couple of swingers. They end up having a situation and they kill him and burn him on the thing. And they go, whoa, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, we didn't know that guy was that guy a weirdo. Do you want to open that weirdo stuff up or not? And families generally don't want to.
Well, look, this is where it's at. Horse has had, beyond an interesting life. He's a madman, but he's got some valid points that I think, man, like I'm so interested, not only about the soldier thing, but like there's a body there that's to be found. I think just general interest. There's never closure to a death of the family, but finding the body, they know he's dead because of the blood, the amount of blood gone, right? And of course, he's never shown up again. If there's a chance to find this body, let's go get it. Let's go. But we can find this out.
One of the things that I do this with you as a podcast, my ambition before I die is to find where my best mate rests.
Well, I think we've actually uncovered quite a few people have been contacting us through this website, and we're getting a lot of people that are interested in some of the stuff. I think there'll be some people of interest contacting us that will help us find this.
I just want to find my friend, and I want to close it for his family.
Well, then let's find him. Let's close it. Diago, what do you think?
I think we can do it. Let's do it. Make sure you like and subscribe. A lot of the episodes has gotten a lot of traction, and We'll put out a freedom of information, find where the location is, and we could actually vlog this out. We're going to check if it's legal to do that. And if we can do that and we get their freedom of information and we find a location across the road, let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, Horse, entertaining as always. And so... by the way, did I tell you about the hot? So Horse he's an absolute psycho, but we have the hottest taco in the world for Taco Loco, and we're having a competition on the 10th of May.
I'm keen as fuck.
I know. I don't want to hurt my friend, but this dude,
I'm nuts.
How hot is that hot sauce?
Oh, fucking bad, man.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But yeah.
He's red gum chug.
Can we close this up because I'm super keen for a piss,
Okay, well, that's it. Hey, we're done. Horse is coming to the taco eating contest. We're going to find his body. And Horse, you're allowed to, please don't piss in the sink this time, man. There's a fucking toilet.
Cheers. See you later. See you next episode.
All right, see ya.
I'm confident this. Can't talk, can't speak.
I'm fascinated.
Hi, hello.
I'm actually fascinated by this whole story.
You think you can take me? Give me a fucking arm, you're gonna take me.